What is up, gamers? Staxwell's back at it again today with another meta breakdown. Today we're going to be talking about what happened at the Realm Games 20k event. Brody Spurlock was able to take it down with Aelia of all heroes. A bunch of interesting things in the top 8. So I'm just going to go run through the deck list real quick, kind of talk about the overall meta, where it's at with Icelander being gone. The pattern I'm noticing is that if we look at something like Worlds, Warmonger's Diplomacy was in every deck that could afford to play it, played 3 copies of it. 6 of the top 8 deck lists played Warmongers. There was like 20-something copies in top 8. And, as a result of that, everyone's just like, well, Warmongers is broken, so we're not going to play a deck that loses to Warmongers, right? So everyone's playing like Ninja, Guardian, Kano was even posed to be a very good deck. Boost Dash, things that just are not losing to Warmongers were like the popular picks going into this tournament. And, other pro players and just other players in general felt this, knew this was coming. So to like layer 2 metagame this, people started cutting Warmongers from their deck. And then as a result of everyone cutting Warmongers from their deck, Aelia won the event. I think this is what happened. This is not the first time it's happened too. The last time Aelia won an event, I noticed this same thing was kind of happening in the metagame. I just thought it was a bit interesting that it's happening again. So let's just go ahead and jump straight into the deck list here. We'll start with Brody. I think he was playing a pretty standard Aelia deck. The only thing I noticed that's super out of the ordinary here is he's playing 3 Poppers in Battering Bolt, 3 more in Raging Onslaught, and then there was another, Down and Dirty. So that's 7 Poppers in his deck, in addition to 2 Barbed Undertow. And Barbed Undertow is the one that's like when it hits, the opponent can't pitch red cards, right? That's really what it's for, is for the red cards. You're mainly trying to hit Dromize with this. Combined with his 7 Poppers, he was teched out for the Dromai matchup. He definitely didn't want to lose that, which was a pretty good call. Dromai made top 8 as well. So, traditionally a bad matchup for Aelia. When you have this much tech for it, I'm sure it's not too terrible though. Shout out to Brody. Huge congrats. But pretty, for the most part, standard Aelia list. Moving on, we have Raj's Dash. This was a pretty standard boost dash as well. Again, staying on the theme of a bunch of poppers. He has Gas Guzzler, 2 big shots, 3 maximum velocities, 3 throttles. And then this was like the boost dash that could hybrid into sideboarding the pistol package, right? So he sided 3 sinks, 2 reinforced the line, 2 induction chamber, and 2 plasma purifier, and 2 unmovable. Just a bunch of D-reacts in this pistol plan, probably his contingency plan against Bravo, which actually wound up being the most played deck at the event. Only one Bravo was able to convert to the top 8, and that was the man, the myth, the legend, Michael Hamilton himself. Nothing too crazy about his deck list. This is what I love about Hamilton, though, is that his deck lists are never like trying to get too cute, trying to get too spicy. He just plays the 60 most consistent, most solid Bravo cards that you could play, or just, the 60 or the 80 most consistent solid cards in whatever deck he chooses that you could play. I do also like that he was playing Warmonger's Diplomacy. He wasn't quite falling for that metagaming trap of, cutting Warmongers from his deck. Unfortunately, he didn't get a chance to play against Brody in the top 8. He wound up losing to Mansant, which is the next deck I want to talk about. So nothing crazy about this Bravo deck. Again, I love it because of that. And I love that he was playing 3 Warmongers. I like that he's also cut down on Showtime. Only 1 Showtime. I think this is going to be a trend moving forward. We're not going to talk about his deck list today, but Michael Fang won the 10K at the Realm Games event as well, and he cut down on the Aura package as well. We see Hamilton cutting down on the Aura package. I think this is going to be a theme going forward. I wouldn't be surprised to see none of the Aura package being played in the future, but for now, it's just being cut. Further and further down, pretty normal deck here. Moving on. Ethan Mansant on Levia. He was very fun to watch over the weekend. Entertaining one on stream. I can't tell you that this is not a normal Levia deck list, or it is, because I don't think anyone knows what that looks like, considering it doesn't really top. So it's very nice to see someone top with it that is, a dedicated Levia player. There was also a player in the 10K event that top 8'd with Levia as well. Same list. It was Pat Eshke. Shout out to both these players. But they do have some spice in the list that is abnormal from Levia decks I've seen, mainly being the Shaden Death Hydra Tear Limb from Limb combo. This is kind of insane. It makes you come in for 26 with the Shaden Death Hydra. Definitely don't see anything like this in most lists. Soul Harvest is a card that's always been played, but it's kind of interesting now because, you know, if Soul Harvest hits a hero, banish all cards from their soul. Interesting because there was actually a decent amount of Bolton being played at this event, so very funny stuff there. Only one Reckless Swing. I like that. If you see it early, cool. They're scared of the second or third one for the rest of the game. If you see it late, then they think you're not playing it. I do like the mind game that's presenting. Arg Smash, 3 Arg Smash that is. I do like this as well with all the dash floating around. You know, if these boost dashes, Raj decided to play his pistol package, it would have ended very poorly for him because of the Arg Smashes. I think it's a very solid list. Looks very well thought out. The double sigil as well is interesting. Only 1 pulping. Very disciplined list here. Overall, yeah, I very much like it. You know, I'm actually noticing before I click off here, 3 Fate Foreseen and no Sink Below. I would be curious to understand the reasoning behind that. I'm just not a Levia player, so I just, oh, there is 3 Sink Below. All right. I thought I was tripping. So with these D-Reacts, they're looking to slow down the game a bit against these slower decks. Maybe even potentially fatigue something like a boost dash deck, right? Having these D-Reacts in your sideboard kind of help with that. The D-Reacts in your sideboard help against Aelia, against Bravo. They cover a lot of matchups, so, you know, it totally makes sense. I very much like that. Yuki Lee Bender playing Bolton. Yeah, we just kind of talked about Bolton. Made the top 8. This was primarily the Sabres Bolton, I want to say, but it did have the ability to play Sabres or Dustblade. Maybe it was just most of the time that Yuki was on stream we seen her playing the Sabres package. But I guess we also did see her play the Raiden package as well. So I guess it could hybrid into either variant of the deck, very much like the Boost Dash deck did. This deck looks pretty stock standard. I think it's able to rise up in popularity thanks to Icelander leaving the meta. Bolton was super gate-kept by Icelander. It was a pretty abysmal matchup. So it's nice to see those shackles lifted off this hero. Matthew W. also playing a Boost Dash list. Very similar to the other Dash deck that we've seen. Matthew W. opting to play the Induction Chambers and the Plasma Purifiers, along with the D-Reacts, the Reinforce the Line, Unmovables, and this one, Matthew was opting to play Evo Steel Soul Controller, which is the Evo Arms. Gas Guzzler, 1 Big Bertha. These were probably just poppers, and then they're one-of poppers to kind of keep your opponent guessing and make them, you know, if you pop one thing with Big Bertha, they're expecting you to play 2 or 3 red Big Berthas. If you pop one thing with Gas Guzzler, again, they're just kind of expecting a higher popper count than you actually have. Same with the Rev Up. Instead of just siding 3 Big Berthas, you might as well side 1 of each. Kind of mind game your opponent a little bit. Peter Benduncic on Kano. Shout out to Peter. He's always an interesting watch on stream. I think he might be my favorite player to watch just because he doesn't really like tank it and he doesn't slow play a lot. He just kind of, you know, plays the game quickly, and that's just so much more fun to watch. I very much enjoy that. I hope that's a trend that continues. The more people kind of figure out the game and master it, get a lot of reps in. Peter has a lot of reps into Kano. Shout out to Peter. He's a local of mine as well. I can't prove this. I can't. But I think Peter only had like 75 cards in his deck box and just found 5 random cards and threw them in. Because there's some cards in here that just actually don't make sense. Reinforce the Line. There is no card to target with it except for your 1 of Nourishing. And there's no way he's like actually doing that. I doubt he's playing Oasis Respite. Maybe for the mirror he's playing it. These cards probably are like almost never sided. Dampen is there for the Throw My matchup, trying to kill that Themai. Imperial Warhorn to maybe try and beat out the dashes, try and destroy some equipment on their side. I really think he was just playing like the best 60 Kano cards, and everything else in here was just a little bit of a meme, a little bit of a troll. I don't think there was actually too many cards in here he truly sideboarded. Like Brainstorm, I don't think he was actually playing this card. I'm gonna try and talk to him and maybe try and get maybe inside his mind a little bit more. Like I said, he is a local of mine. So smash that subscribe button. Maybe we could get him on here. Maybe we could get him to chit chat with us and tell us kind of what made this deck tick. But I can't prove it. I don't know exactly what's going on here, but I think he just took 10 random cards and threw them in here. Also worth noting is that, it could be a part of Kano's success is that, since Icelander's gone, not many people are playing Arcane Barrier as much as they used to. Matthew W. playing AB3, but, Yuki Lee Bender was playing AB1. Ethan Mansant was playing AB0, no AB whatsoever. Michael Hamilton was playing 1 AB. The only people that actually had AB were the boost dash players. So I actually think if Peter could have dodged the boost dash players, there is a decent chance he could have won this whole event. Unfortunately, he paired into a Matthew W on boost dash. Round 1 kind of stunted his whole run there. Unfortunate gem pairing. But yeah, fun player to watch. Last deck I want to talk about, Mara Ferris's Dromai deck. This is the more aggressively slanted Dromai deck that Mara is known for. Not a whole lot of spice in here. One thing of note is that all you got ×3. Probably on the lookout for Ninja with recent success at the World Championship. Probably was expecting a lot of that moving into the 20K. Only other weird choice was the Iron Rock Gauntlet. This was probably also for Ninja, just to cover up like a Phoenix Flame and deny some, or maybe a Kodachi, deny some Mask Momentum triggers. Just, break the chain link at chain link 2, block that second Kodachi with an Iron Rot. I imagine that's what it was for. Other than that, this is just the list that Mara always plays. Going to lend credence and show how far mastery on a single hero can get you. This is the advice I always give to new players, is just pick one hero and just stick with it. And yeah, Mara showing that strategy definitely pays off a lot. Another thing of note is 2 sand cover, no Oasis Respite, and no AB in the equipment slot. I know Ashwings have AB, obviously, but definitely not teched out or not prepared for the Kano matchup here either. I would have been interested to see Peter Bendunsik play against this version of the deck. I think Kano probably would have ran this over, if I'm being honest. It depends. If you could get out a timely Themi, then maybe it could work out for you. But yeah, Kano was very well slotted in this tournament here. And yeah, that's all the top 8 deck lists here. Very exciting stuff. The only hero that was a repeat hero was Dash. This meta is still so wide open. Nothing, not even this tournament, kind of like showed us what the best decks are or what the meta is going to look like moving forward, which will be interesting because Heavy Hitters doesn't come out for like, I want to say like another 2 months or month and a half, something like that. So we got a long time to kind of figure out this meta, let it sit, let it brew. Not a whole lot of big events, but it's still going to be interesting to see how it plays out, how everything shakes up here. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, rate, subscribe, and help the algorithm help me out just a little bit. Later, gamers.